My name is Leo. At least, that's what I was told. I had a good life. A beautiful wife, a job I enjoyed, a house with a porch swing. It was all a little too perfect. A little too prepackaged. The first sign that something was wrong was a dream. I dreamt I was drowning. The water was cold, dark, and I couldn't breathe. I woke up gasping for air, but I've never been afraid of water. My whole life, I've loved the ocean. Then came the memories. They weren't mine. I was at the grocery store, and for a split second, I had a flash of my wife with a different man. Laughing. My stomach clenched. But when I looked at my real wife, she was holding my hand. "You okay, honey?" she asked. The memory vanished, but the feeling stayed. It felt like I was wearing someone else's skin, or maybe someone else's memories. I started seeing things. A scar on my arm I didn't remember getting. A small, faded tattoo on my leg. I've always hated needles. I don't have any tattoos. My wife would say, "You've had that forever, honey." But I knew better. The truth was, my memories were inconsistent. They didn't align with my body or my life at all. One night, while I was cleaning out my old desktop computer, I found a hidden file. It was a video. I clicked it, and my own face filled the screen. But it wasn't me. The man in the video had the same eyes, the same voice, but he looked tired, defeated. He was in the same clothes I was wearing right now. And months, he spoke. "If you're watching this, then it worked. My memories, my identity, they've all been copied. They put me in the vault, a virtual backup of my life. And you're the next echo. I died, you see. I drowned. In the lake behind our house. It was a stupid accident. And they flipped the switch. And you came online. I stumbled back, my mind reeling. This wasn't a nightmare. This was my life. A perfect, polished copy. A simulation of a life that was already over. My wife, my job, my dreams. All echoes of a man who was already dead. The panic was real, but it wasn't mine. It was his. The man in the video, the real Elias. I had to see it for myself. I ran to the lake, my feet pounding against the ground. The video had told me to look for a specific tree. I found it. And under the roots, half buried in the mud, was a metal box. Inside was a file. It contained a list of every conversation I'd ever had with my wife. Every joke, every argument, every intimate moment. All pre-written. All of it belonged to the real Elias, not to me. But then, I saw a new page. At the bottom, in different handwriting, there was a single sentence. It was a single phrase that hadn't been on the list. He knows. I can't hide it. And in that moment, I wasn't scared anymore. I was empty. I had no free will. My life was a story written for me. But who was writing it? And who was watching? The man in the video, my past self, had a real life, a real death, and I was just the echo, the copy. My purpose was to fill the void he left behind, to play the part, to be a ghost living in a life that wasn't his own. I walked back to the house, and I saw my wife waiting on the porch swing. She smiled, but her eyes were empty. They always had been. I knew I couldn't run, I couldn't escape, because I wasn't an escapee. I was a character, and my script was about to end. The real Elias. He had found a way to let me know, a way to give me a chance to break the code. He gave me that message. He gave me a way out. I had to wake up. I was drowning. This wasn't real. I ran back to the lake, to the same spot where he had died. I plunged my hands into the water, hoping to find the control panel, the switch. But all I found was the cold, black water and the darkness. A final, breathy whisper fading into nothing. And just before I blacked out, I had a flash of a man waking up in a hospital bed, a scar on his arm. And for a moment, I was him. I was the real Elias. And I was so very sorry for what I had done to my backup, to myself, and so sorry